Our children deserve protection from violence. This is the underpinning of the pro-life movement. Hey everyone, this is Kristen Hawkins. Welcome to this new episode of How to Win This Week on Explicitly Pro-Life podcast. Today I want to talk about the horrific attack in Texas against elementary school children. And the children who died, and there are 2 teachers, 19 children, and 2 teachers who died in this attack. Immediately after this horrific attack, which, anyone who is a parent, gut-wrenching. Immediately after this attack hit the news, and people started reporting it, we saw tweets, social media posts of F your prayers and thoughts. If you're a Republican, you've caused this. If you're pro-life, you don't care about these babies. You caused this. Excuse me? Literally, our entire movement's premise is that all children deserve protection from violence. That is what we do. That is why we exist as a pro-life movement. Yet, AOC, all of the left, they were all on Twitter condemning pro-lifers, condemning anybody who had ever voted a Republican ever as somehow is the reason for this heinous attack. Like this evil person actually listened to the gun laws and followed the gun laws in the state of Texas. Like this person who is so mentally deranged and evil, like it was unbelievable. What? Wait, what? That's actually what I found myself saying when I was reading these tweets and these F your prayers and thoughts posts. Who says this is something that everybody uniformly, besides evil people, condemns and thinks is atrocious? And if you're pro-life and you fight alongside us in the pro-life movement, this is why we fight in the pro-life movement, because we know the value and the preciousness of every single human life. And we know every child deserves to live a life free of violence, starting in the womb, free from abortion violence, but certainly free from violence after they're born. This is why we do what we do. It's Democrats who actually are obsessed with children dying. It's them who are demanding that we codify Roe versus Wade before the Dobbs decision comes out to ensure that abortion is legal up until the moment of birth for whatever reason, even if a mother doesn't like the sex of her child, and with taxpayer funds. And Democrats in California are so obsessed with it that they're trying to legalize infanticide. That if a baby dies after birth, after surviving an abortion, that there cannot be any investigation of a death of a child up to 28 days after he or she is born, because they want to ensure that no one would ever be prosecuted for killing a child who was born alive during an abortion. This is who they are. They refuse to allow schools to have armed security guards, which I don't know, seems like a very common sense thing that every parent in America right now is asking. Why aren't there armed security guards in our schools and multiple security guards? They refuse that, even to have that conversation, but then they tell me to F my thoughts and prayers. Beto O'Rourke goes to the press conference where the Governor Greg Abbott, where Senator Ted Cruz are at in Texas discussing this horrific tragedy, and uses it as a PR stunt for himself because, he's running for office again. He uses it as a PR stunt for himself to say that the blood of the children that were killed on Greg Abbott's hands. Excuse me, Beto? If you actually care about children dying, if you want to stop children dying, go do that at the National Planned Parenthood Conference. Go do that in front of the National School Board Association, which labeled parents a domestic terrorist threat and actually wanted federal marshals to protect schools against angry parents like me at school board hearings, but don't want armed security guards in schools. It's unbelievable. I have a very hard time, and I know I have to be more charitable, but I have a hard time believing you really care about the lives of these 19 precious children when you support killing 3,000 children every day inside of abortion facilities. the slaughter of nearly 1 million children every single year. I have a really hard time believing that that is a sincere position and not something that the Democrats hopefully are just latching on to because they are so afraid of the economy and everything, the fact that I can't afford gas and to go to the grocery store, that they're going to use as an election issue to gin up their base. I have a hard time believing this moral outrage that you have is anything other than politically motivated acts. It's unbelievable. It's totally unacceptable. I think every American should be able to agree that what happened in Texas is horror and is evil and should never be repeated again. And yes, there should absolutely be policy discussions about what we can do to prevent evil people from doing this ever again. But it's so sad to see that we can't even have that discussion anymore in our country. We can't even have an honest discussion about what can we do, because we all know, bad guys get guns. So is limiting guns really going to stop it? Is it better mental health counseling? Better ways to report people that we believe might be a danger to themselves and others? There's a lot of discussions that we can have in our country, but we can't even get to that point because those who support abortion and those on the left, they just want to use this for their own politically motivated reasons. And Beto O'Rourke is a prime example of that. If you really want to protect children, join us in the pro-life movement. Join us to say all children deserve protection from violence.